We have any sound?
We do have sound, but
Oh, did you? Well, I usually talk enough for sound. Okay, I'm Spencer Park. I am a landowner and resident of Wallsburg and an engineer. So I somehow got the job to present to you guys, at least the initial part of it. Doug covered a lot of what I was going to go, because I wanted to present to you guys the multiple inconsistencies this plan has with your general plan. And then I wanted to go through the preservation zone, which I cannot say preservation enough. I mean, it doesn't say let's put 600 homes on preservation. It says let's save it, let's protect our watershed, let's protect our preservation properties. It's pretty specific. I don't know why the TDR zone ever established the P160, and in talking with Doug, he can't figure out it either. It doesn't make sense for what you want to do with that ground. So it was never intended in the general plan to be a density transfer to it. You know, the A20 is in the general plan to be transferred out of the TDR as a 4:1 ratio, but the RA5 has no density increase, although the applicant is asking for not just one density per 5 acres, but one ERU per acre. So it's a 5 times ratio on that piece of property. It's a 4 times on the A20, and we're not arguing with that. We are arguing with the fact that it should not be transferred to the P160 zone. It's preservation again, if you can get that. The general plan specifically says that the density should be transferred to town centers and have it grow from a healthy planning standpoint from the town outward. And we're going to get to it in a minute, the Wallsburg planning area, and I'm going to skip through this because Doug just went through all the definitions of the preservation zone. The Wallsburg town has an annexation plan that goes ahead and includes the area of town right there is included in blue. The primary, annexation of their initial Zoom annexation area is in pink right there. Their secondary annexation area is in the lime green color, and their extended annexation area is in the light blue. So for the next map I'm going to show you, I just included the initial annexation area in pink. So the general plan right now states that Wallsburg has the resources to provide for 1,500 homes, or ERUs. The existing density and zoning in Wallsburg, I created this map. It takes in all of the P160, all of the zoning in town, or all the zoning in the valley, and the town. And if I add up the total ERUs that we can already build in this valley with the town at 1 acre density, and they allow half-acre lots, I come up to 2,588 ERUs that is currently entitled in Wallsburg Valley. So we are already, now granted, I didn't take out some steep slopes, but I also didn't include for half-acre lots in some areas. I didn't include for a lot of stuff. I think it's probably a conservative number, but it's, you know, definitely 1,000 over what your general plan says we even have resources for. You know, anybody that's lived in Wallsburg very long knows resources and water are incredibly short. You know, I had a 2-hour meeting with the state engineer a week or 2 ago, and she said Wallsburg doesn't have a shortage of paper water, Wallsburg has a shortage of wet water. And I think that's what we're going to find out here with this development. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in a minute. You know, that's the name of my slide. The WOZ, the Wallsburg Overlay Zone, it proposes a new intersection down at the end of Wallsburg, tying into 189. I talked with the UDOT traffic engineer, and he said it's very likely that intersection would not be approved because of the dangerousness of this intersection. Wallsburg had a fatality at that intersection just this last week. So it is probably one of the more dangerous intersections in the whole county. And this development, with their added density, would create another 3,000 to 5,000 vehicle trips per day coming in and out of that valley. if I use roughly a 9.5 to 10 vehicle trips per home, which is a standard for traffic engineering. The Wallsburg Overlay Zone has no public support. We are currently circulating a petition and have a petition that is, at this point, we're about 3/4 of the Wallsburg households are signed into that petition. So there is no community support. I also have a large number of county residents that are on that petition too. So it's not just the Wallsburg Valley that are signing their great support for this proposal. And I also have a current landowner that is shown on this map that his property is included on the proposal that owns 1,500 acres that wants to get out of it. That says he doesn't want his property in it. And so to create this, we have to have a special service district, which I think in Wasatch County that's probably a dirty word right now, but I guess let's propose another one. I mean, we're not saying no to growth, and I don't know if Wallsburg needs an overlay zone, but if it does, I think we ought to do it as a community effort, study the whole area, each zone area gets included the same. Let's study our resources, and let's do the whole valley at once, and not just satisfy the needs of a couple landowners. I thank you for your time today. Anybody have any questions for me before I turn it over to Paul?
Do you live in Wallsburg City or in the outlying?
I am in the county.
Okay.
Anything else?
I'm Paul Wilson. I'm a property owner and a resident of Wallsburg. Maybe correction there to start with, I was never on the Planning Commission, but I was a member of the County Engineering Department for a lot of years. I went to work for the county in 1994. That's the first year we've seen the big boom in Wasatch County. Since that time, I've worked in every corner of Wasatch County except for Soldier Center. Every corner I've done a development, from the start till the finish, every area. That includes Wallsburg. I'd like to talk a little bit about Wallsburg, what I've seen in Wallsburg since 1994. I've seen several subdivisions go there, a lot more than you see as you drive through the town. And several agriculture exemption subdivisions done. Most of them have been done for families, and they build on them. There's been RA5 subdivisions. I personally done one before I moved over there. We had 30 acres. We broke off 3 5-acre lots for each one of our children, and me and my wife built on 17 acres. Built for privilege to go in there. We think it's the most beautiful subdivision in Wasatch County. P160. Then the subdivision, the P160, we clustered it. We've done 9 lots, and they took over 1,000 acres and set aside in one segment. And they went through the process. Construction was started. About half the improvements was built. About half, and that's about, we're talking about 208, 209 now, and things went sour, and I think the main participants are on a mission, but the subdivision stopped. It was never completed, never recorded. The point I'm trying to make here is, in the P160, there was a clustered subdivision done according to the code. And it could have been very successful, but something stopped it. I've seen all these different subdivisions done in Wallsburg, from the start to the finish. I'm here to tell you, every one of them, and I've seen most of the public meetings for the Planning Commission, the County Commission, County Council, I've never seen one protester. Not one. The other night, there was about 350 on one little public hearing. What's the difference? The difference is, every one of the previous ones took the Wasatch County Code and they build according to it. through the process, they done it right. Nobody came in here and gerrymandered through the general plan. They done what was expected of them. I'm here to tell you, I don't think every rest of the Wasatch County is a 100% believer in the plan, in the county code. But every one of them support it. And I'm here to tell you, I think you should support it. That general plan is just exactly what it says, Mr. Chairman. You get into Title 16 and it tells you how to build and when to build. So that's what we're asking you. Just tell you one little thing I learned in 16 years, or 14 years at Wasatch County. When I first started, it was pretty tough on me. I had a lot of projects and I went through a lot of things. I made some mistakes. But finally, along the line, I learned how to say no. My popularity really dropped. It went down the tube. But my job became very easy. Wasatch County is a much better place to live today because I learned to say no. And that's what I'm telling you folks. Might not be very popular, but don't be afraid to say no. Thank you. I hope anybody has questions. Thank you.
Thank you.